Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I thought that I would take a second to say hi to you. And today I wanted to talk quickly about something that I just read about Don Lemon and Donald Trump. And in case you don't know, in case you haven't followed the story, there was apparently some financial information on Trump's economic situation that was released by the New York Times. The New York Times did an investigative report, and they came to some interesting conclusions. Their conclusion is that Donald Trump lost a lot of money during the 80s and the 90s. He went deep into, he's gone into debt on multiple occasions. Apparently, according to the reports, he lost over $1 billion during that decade, which was pretty significant, nothing to sneeze at. And this led Don Lemon to step out and to basically say that he thinks that this proves that Donald Trump's a fraud, and that Trump has been lying to the American people, and that Trump was never a good businessman in the first place, and that, it's all a bunch of nonsense to believe that he actually knows anything about business. Fair enough. I think that there is good reason to be critical of that, because let's just be real. From a financial standpoint, Trump, he knows a few things, but he's a little bit of a blowhard. He has a real interesting personality disorder, and so he's kind of interesting to talk about. But let me kind of talk through this in a way that hopefully will add some context and make some sense out of what you've seen. Now, before I begin, I want to say hi to everybody. I see Sir Kata says Don Lemon is wrong. Frederick says, what up? How you doing? Nasir is here. Larry Hurt, how you doing? Omanike, or was it Oman Mike? Is that right? Omanike. Frederick, do you think he just reported the loss? Barry Black. Yeah, how you doing, Barry Black? He lost all the money, but still benefits from white supremacy. Right, so white people always win. No, but in all seriousness, though, here's the deal. I thought that as a financial guy, that's what I do. That's what I taught students for a long time. I thought I would kind of provide some context and some possibilities and some analysis on it to kind of help you see kind of what might be going on. Now, oh, by the way, I see somebody shouting out their city, She Optimist. Yeah, go ahead and shout out your city. Naptown in the house from Ted, Indianapolis. I grew up 100 miles away from Indianapolis. Michelle, this is not news. Booper says Mighty Network Black Enough is the shit. Yes, Black Enough is our social media platform that we put together for people that want to get off the Facebook bus. You don't have to leave Facebook altogether. You can stay on Facebook if you want, but add us to your arsenal of social media options. It's spelled BLA. Somebody type it in, because one mistake I made is that we picked a name that we thought was cool, because it's kind of like, are you black enough? Are you black enough to be here? If you black enough to be here, you could be here. That was the thinking, right? If you're black enough, then you should join Black Enough. But some people had trouble spelling it. So the way you spell it is BLAGGENUF, BLAGGENUF. Somebody type it in, please, so others can see it, so I don't have to keep on saying it. BLAGGENUF. In fact, on drboycetv.com, I'm going to type it in so you guys see it right there. And also on Your Black World, I'm live on Your Black World as well. So let's talk about this thing with Trump. And I see, let me shout out a couple more cities. King Green from Baltimore, Malik Khalid, how you doing? Rocksmith, Florida, Ray Williams from Houston, Texas. Houston is where the All Black National Convention is going to be held. That's the weekend of September 27th. So make sure you show up, be there or be square, and come in your underwear. Whatever you want to do, however you want to show up, come one, come all. It's Black people getting together the weekend of September 27th to be super Black, extra Black, and to really celebrate our Blackness in a family atmosphere, and it is amazing. So anyway, let's hop into this conversation. Okay, so Don Lemon, he said some things about Trump, some of which may be true, some of which maybe not. One of the things I want you to be really cautious about in terms of trying to analyze this is to understand that what you're really watching, is a vendetta kind of playing out in public. Trump has a vendetta against mainstream media. He thinks that all mainstream media is whack and that they're lying, that it's all fake, unless they agree with him, right? That's a problem. But then there's a lot there to argue that mainstream media does have an issue with Trump. There's a lot of evidence to say that. I've seen a lot of reports that really came off to be very biased. In fact, the very nature of Don Lemon's criticism of Trump, the very nature of his commentary on Trump, to me underlines any credibility he may have as an objective journalist. You know, most objective journalists, most serious journalists aren't gonna, do a commentary where they just say somebody's a fraud. The president of the United States is a fraud. So it kind of speaks to the fact that Don Lemon kind of has a bone to pick with Trump, and he's been waiting for this, right? In the New York Times, I mean, Trump has been doing everything he can to practically get New York Times shut down. So, they're not exactly a credible source. There aren't that many credible sources in media right now today. So you're really seeing like Crips and Bloods going at it. You're seeing, the Reds and the Blues, the East and the West. In fact, Crips and Bloods, they starting to get along. The Crips and Bloods are actually acting far more civilized than any of the Democrats and the Republicans right now. So let me not even make that comparison, because I'd be disrespecting my brothers out West. So let me just say this. Don has a bone to pick with Trump, and Don is a petty guy, so he sees this as an opportunity to do a commentary that undermines, in my opinion, undermines his journalistic credibility. But then again, maybe the fact that I just said what I said shows that I have a bone to pick with Don Lemon. See, ain't nobody objective in this game. Ain't nobody really truly objective, right? Don Lemon and I go way back 10 years ago. Don Lemon, when I criticized Lee Daniels for making that bullshit show called Empire, where they try to turn every black man gay and all this other stuff they're trying to do. Well, Don Lemon went on the Tom Joyner Morning Show and spent a long time telling Tom that basically I was full of it. That basically I'm full of crap and I'm a lie. So ain't nobody objective in this game. You just got to pick a side. Are you liberal? Are you conservative? Are you black? I vote for Team Black. That's my agenda. I am the black agenda, right? So if you are the black agenda, then this is the place for you to be. If you're not, then you're probably not going to be happy with what I'm about to say. So let's talk about Trump. So effectively, the criticism now is that between I think 1985 and 1991, it was shown that Donald Trump lost about $1 billion. He lost a couple $100 million a year, and people are using that to conclude that he's a fraud, that he really wasn't a good businessman. Trump comes back and makes an interesting argument where he says, at that time, as a real estate developer, in order to avoid taxes, you pretty much wrote everything off, and you always want to make it appear that you had losses. And which is doable, which is possible. I mean, you can write off losses from from expenditures or investments that you make, and you can amortize what's called amortization. Like you can write off certain expenses quicker to make it appear that you're really losing money when really you're not. And so what can happen, which happens in many cases. This is why Trump and people like even Jeff Bezos and Amazon, how they can get away without paying taxes, is that you can actually, if you have good accountants, you can literally make it appear that you have a loss every year while you are completely flush with cash. Well, you got more cash, you got so much cash, you're looking like Pablo Escobar up in that mug, and the IRS has technically written you off as a person who has a loss. And in fact, that's why I see Malik says, I write losses off every year. Exactly. So here's the deal. This is why I want y'all to become business owners, man. Make it part of your family culture, because rich people, let me tell you a little secret about wealth in America. Rich people get over like gangsters. I'm serious. It's not that they're all bad people. I'm just telling y'all, I want y'all to just learn the rules so that you can know how to get over yourself. I can't change the rules. I can go and I can, protest and march and rally and sing Kumbaya in front of the Capitol and hope that one day people decide to not be as greedy as they are, as they were before. But really, I just kind of feel like, well, let me just explain this game to black people so we don't end up on the losing end of the game. Capitalism, unfortunately, is a competitive game where there is going to be a loser, there's going to be a winner. Tonight, the Portland Trail Blazers are playing the Denver Nuggets, and there is no way that game can end with a tie. There is no way that both the Portland Trail Blazers and the Denver Nuggets can both walk away with the championship. No way, not possible. Right? So what I'm saying to you is, look, I just need y'all to be on the winning team, man. Working class people are not on the winning team in America. Trump's write-offs, massive write-offs, came during the Reagan era. The Reagan era featured something that is known as Reaganomics and / trickle-down economics. The translation of Reaganomics and trickle-down economics is that basically we take care of the rich people and we just give them the option to help out poor people if they feel like it, if they want to do it in their spare time. It doesn't work. It clouts and pollutes all the wealth to the top, and therefore you have the wealth disparities that exist in America. And so America was getting economically sick during the Reagan era. We need to make adjustments. Our capitalism has gotten out of control. The cat has run out the front door. I don't know how to catch the cat and bring him back in the house. All I know how to do is to deal with the situation that we're in. And so when America got economically sick, as they say, when America gets sick, Black people get pneumonia. So what happened was that when Reaganomics hit, it hit Black people the hardest. And so effectively, Trump was one of those guys that, because he had good accountants and good lawyers, was able to create a scenario where he was writing off massive losses, And so Trump's explanation is not out of the question. Now, does this say that Trump is a great businessman? I don't know. I'm gonna leave that up to you to make that decision. But here's one thing I know. To me, a bad businessman is somebody who doesn't have enough resources to, take care of his family, or ends up in a situation where he can't pay the bills, right? Ends up destitute, flat broke, struggling. One thing I know is that Trump ain't struggling. Let me tell you like this. All I know is that all of Trump's kids last year made about $80 million apiece. Now, he could still be a bad businessman and have children making $80 million apiece. But if Mr. Don Malik or Tone 360 or Frederick, if y'all come tell me that your kids made $80 million each last year, it will be hard for me to call you a loser. It will be hard for me to say, yeah, man, it's rough in the struggle. We all in the struggle. You ain't in the struggle if your kids made $80 million last year. Here's another thing. Let me show y'all a picture. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button while we do this. Hit the thumbs up button. This is Black Truth. This is what we're going to talk with. Black Truth for intelligent Black people, not for people who fall for the nonsense. This is for people who want to really understand and get a perspective that you're not going to get in mainstream media. I'm going to show y'all a picture right quick. If you're on Your Black World, you won't see the picture, but just I'll describe it to you so you can imagine what we're looking at. Okay, that picture is a picture of Donald Trump's private jet. In fact, I got you guys on the phone. Let me flip the phone around so you guys can see it. Here's a picture of Trump's private jet. It's not one of those little tiny jets. It's not a starter jet. It's not a jet that'll hold him and his family. It's a jumbo jet. It's a jumbo ass jet, the type that you will see at Delta Airlines and everything else. Here's a picture of the interior of that jumbo jet that he's been flying in for as long as I can remember. Now, here's the thing about that jet that's interesting. I remember when I was in college, and I remember back in the time where Trump was not the most hated man in America. I remember when Trump was actually respected as a great businessman. He was known for his business savvy. He wrote a book, The Art of the Deal, it was a bestseller. I could have swore he had the same damn jet 30 years ago. I could have sworn he was flying in at least whatever jet it was. He had a big jet that was the same damn color with the word Trump on the side, and he was flying that shit back in the early 90s. He was flying that shit in the 80s. So I'm just trying to ask you this question. Here's the question I want to ask you guys. If a man is a complete loser and a fraud and a terrible businessman and just can't hold it together, how is it that he's able to fly and make the payments on a jumbo jet over a 30 or 40 year period? Now, he could be doing it with bank money from the bank. Absolutely. Trump, he's never made any secret of the fact that he uses the bank's money to make his biggest investments. And when the financial losses come, the bank gets hit, not him. Even if he has the money, he'll use the bank's money, right? He's talked about bankruptcies. He's gone bankrupt several times. Go look it up. Trump has been declared bankruptcy many times. But I'm serious though. At some point, if you're that terrible of a businessman, and I'm not defending Trump, I'm not sitting here, I am not a Trump fan. So I need y'all to just understand that I don't like the guy. I don't care. I'm glad that the stock market's doing well under Trump. That's cool. But I don't think any of these politicians care about us. But I'm trying to ask you this. If he's so terrible at business, how come nobody figured it out and took the damn jet away? Like, why? How's he still got the jet? And how's he still got kids making $80 million a year? How's he still got the money to do all the things that he's doing? So even if he's a bad businessman, there's something that says to me that he's figured out how to work the system. And there are people that, that the people, 99.9% of the people that will critique him as a businessman have never actually run a business themselves. And that kind of undermines their credibility. Like Don Lemon needs a job. If Don Lemon had no job at CNN, you wouldn't know who Don Lemon was. Don Lemon's money wouldn't be what it is, et cetera, right? Trump and his family, they have a different kind of model, and it's a model where who gives a shit about your income? Like income, schmincome. Like seriously, only working. I'm gonna tell you, this is another thing I'm just processing here. Only people that have jobs care about income, like it's excessively. Now, income does matter though. Don't get me wrong. Income matters, but if you look at a lot of big companies that are out there right now that are trading on Wall Street and all this other stuff. Hey, Tay Tay. She is upstairs. Yeah, go find her. She's upstairs. Or you can check in the bedroom back there. But she's around. So the thing about income is, that income matters. But if you look at a lot of the tech startups on Wall Street, for example, Uber is about to go public, and they're about to get a payoff of several $1 billion when they sell a piece of their company. I don't think they made a profit yet. They haven't. They're losing money, right? So you could easily argue that the Uber executives are bad business people. Even though Ubers are all over the world, they have a tremendous amount of market share. They have a tremendous amount, billions of dollars in corporate value. Their families are going to be eating better than our families, right? But you could argue that they're bad business people because they're losing money, right? But as Frederick is pointing out, cash flow, man, cash flow. Business owners, they're like, yeah, we'll get around to profitability eventually. But right now, we're going to think about cash flow. We're thinking about, what assets we have under our control. We're going to think about revenue levels. We're going to think about market share. And then later on, maybe we'll make a profit and that'll be nice. Then we got to fest to the IRS. Okay, I made some money here. Let me pay you some taxes. But they tend to delay that moment as long as possible. They want the IRS to believe that they have no money for as long as possible. So let me tell you an example about, owning a business. I'll give you an example. When you own a business, you get write-offs that regular people don't get. If you start up, that's why I want everybody in here every black family should have a family business. Let me tell you why. Get a good accountant though, and do your taxes right and all that. Because you don't want to get in trouble with the IRS. But let me tell you why a family business is freaking amazing. If you have a family business and you got some relatives that you work with, relatives you trust enough to bring into the business. Every relative don't need to be in your business. I'm writing about this in my book on economic codes of conduct. But if you got relatives you trust enough to bring into your business, do you know that if you are doing business with a relative that you can write off your trips to go visit your relatives as long as you're doing business during those trips? You can write off meals you have together. You can write off cars and all kinds of stuff that you buy. The same stuff regular people buy with regular jobs, you get to write that off, and that becomes an expense, which gives you the greater chance of getting a loss. So let's say that you and your neighbor both make $100,000 a year. Let's keep the math real simple. Your neighbor makes 100 grand on their job. They pay taxes on every penny of that 100 grand because that 100 grand is considered all net income for the most part. Maybe they get a write-off on the house for the interest, but that ain't really much compared to business write-offs. So let's say that you have a business and you spend a lot of your money on things that relate to your family. It's a family business. So you spend money on trips, you spend money on vehicles or office equipment or buying things you love, new suits, whatever it is that you need to make your business work, and you're writing all that off. Well, at the end of the year, you can come out and be like, I lost money this year. I'm gonna get some money back from the IRS because look at all my expenditures for my business were 150,000 and I made 100,000. So I have a negative 50,000 in income, which means the IRS is gonna write me a check, whereas your friend is going to be writing a check to the IRS. That's why now, if you tell you this, you go full circle with it though. That needs to change. Like that's why the the federal government is eventually going to have serious financial trouble because they're letting rich people get away with things like that. That's why they are correct to challenge the wealthy in how they pay taxes. Like if the wealthy just paid an extra 2% in taxes and did it legit, like they could literally like clear up a ton of money in the federal debt, but they don't have the political will to do it. Why? Well, because the corporations and the wealthy people have power in America and they're controlling your government now. That's why I don't have a lot of faith that we're going to end capitalism, because unless you're talking about all that revolution, which I don't know if I want that. I want blood in the streets, but short of all that revolution, I don't really know how they're going to end the capitalist system. Every time they even bring up any ideas that even sound remotely socialist, there's this massive backlash against it. And so I don't know where that's going to go. I'm not even here to tell you, what you should think about that. What I am here to say, though, is that I know one thing you and I have in common is that we both want your family to get ahead. I want your family to win. You want your family to win. So I'm just telling you the game so you can position your family so you and your family can win. Now, is Trump a fraud? I don't know. Probably. Obama was a fraud. All the politicians have to lie in order to get that much power. That's just what I believe. But maybe I'm just a pessimist, right? So it is what it is. But I can tell you this. There are clear smoke signals that tell you, how the game is played, where the opportunities are. And the greatest opportunity that has occurred under the Trump administration is very basic. Unemployment is the lowest it's been in 49 years. That's a good thing. Black unemployment is lower than it's been in 30 years, something like that. More jobs are being created than have been created in a very long time. I don't know exactly why. I don't know how much credit Trump gets for that. How little, I don't give a shit. I just don't care. I also know that the stock market has been out of freaking control in terms of how much money has been made in the stock market. So all my students in the Black Business School, if you're in the Black Business School, please raise your hand. Let me know that you are in the Black Business School, because every student in the Black Business School has been told repeatedly to just jump on that financial train and participate in the economy, because that's where the money's at. That's where the rich people, that's why you have the gap between the rich and the poor, is because the rich people are putting their money in the stock market. And unfortunately, working class people aren't trained to do that. It's not that they can't afford it, because you can buy a share of stock for $5. Anybody who can afford a $5 cheeseburger can afford shares of stock. I'm about to buy stocks for our 12-year-old for her birthday this weekend, and where she's going to pick out the companies, and I'm going to buy them on the little app and show her and explain to her what it means and all that stuff. Yeah, $5 a day, Larry Hurt. I actually have a book on Amazon. If you go to Amazon, look for my name. I have a book out on the $5 a day investing plan. It's a tiny, tiny book, but it breaks down my $5 a day investing plan, where you can do $5 a day and literally build mountains of wealth for your family. But it takes time. It's going to take like a generation for you to really have a lot of money. But that's where wealthy people come from. What people are wealthy in 2019 because somebody made a plan for them in 1969. So now, instead of it being 2019, it is 1969. So the question is, where's your family going to be 40, 50 years from now? The decision's up to you. If you act, they will benefit. If you do not act, they will lose. You make the choice. It's totally up to you. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button before you go. Please hit that thumbs up button. Also, I want to give you guys the melanated mogul of the day. The melanated mogul of the day, I did Osceola. Earlier, we did Osceola McCarty. I'm going to do Osceola McCarthy again. I talked about her earlier, but I want to bring her up again because she's so special. Osceola McCarthy was born in 1908, and this sister actually worked. She used to clean and wash clothes for white people, and she was secretly saving money the entire time. And she actually left an endowment when she died for the University of Southern Mississippi to educate Black students. And they were stunned because she left $150,000. And so what they did was they did a fundraiser drive to match the amount she put in. So they created the Osceola McCarty Endowed Scholarship. And this lady was literally making a couple of dollars a day, back in the day. And she did this, made this sacrifice for the future of her community. So I want to say ashe to the beloved ancestor Osceola McCarty, and these are the people that we have in our melanated moguls flashcards. So if you actually want to learn Black history or teach it to your kids in your house under your terms, you can go to melanatedflashcards.com. That's melanatedflashcards.com, where we have all kinds of melanated figures in Black economic history. And of course, we have our financial workbooks for children, which will be great for the summer. You can go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. Last but not least, I'm going to do a 7-week investing seminar that starts on the 14th. And so if you want to go check out that seminar, go to drboyceseminars.com. That's drboyceseminars.com. And, feel free to sign up. And we're going to talk about investing. I'm going to go week by week, and we're going to break down lots of things that you can't learn in a university, but I'll make it very simple so you can understand it. So hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button before you go. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. It was cool. Also, don't forget this podcast is on iTunes, so you can actually look for my name and download it from iTunes. And that's pretty much it. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.